Welcome back to Mac Music Review. I can't believe I'm actually recording a video on this day, but it just turns out that I have the time. It turns out I can do this, and I'm excited to bring you this video. Today we're going over great albums. It's been a while since we did this, and I only have a few to give you guys today. I do have one honorable mention, which I'm going to hop right into. The Definition by Jon Bellion. I think The Definition, it's the best Jon Bellion album that I have reviewed on this channel. I've reviewed every single Jon Bellion album, including his 3 SoundCloud albums that if you're a casual fan, you probably have never even heard of, and this is one of those. This is actually the last SoundCloud album by him, and it's definitely his most polished. It has some of the best songs of his entire career. I'm talking about Preoccupied, Money Right, Human, Luxury is really great. This album has some insanely great songs, some also poor lyrics, but generally speaking, the production on this project is really great. It's just some not great songwriting and a few musical low points that keep it down for me, but other than that, it's a great album. That was an honorable mention. This is actually a 100% great album, and it's Night Visions by Imagine Dragons. This is the debut album, and it's extremely rare that an album that is this insanely popular is this insanely good. Like, it's super easy to forget. I barely ever listened to this album, but when I came back to review this, I just remembered how great this thing is. The production on this thing is super original, super varied in terms of lyrical content and music. It's kind of all over the place, probably the least focused Imagine Dragons album, but I don't really care because it's so good. Like, even though it's not very focused, the songs themselves are really, really great for the most part. There are a few low points, like Every Night is one of the worst songs they've ever made, and that's saying a lot because they have a lot of terrible songs. But this is a pretty great, this is a pretty great album. Smoke Plus Mirrors is my personal favorite Imagine Dragons album. This thing is impressive. It is by a long shot the darkest Imagine Dragons album, and they're in this darker place, and that really brings out Dan Reynolds' strengths as a songwriter. I don't know if he wrote all these songs, but the songs on this thing and the way they're sung is very convincing. They're really sad, they're really dark, and just honestly really great. The quality of this thing is very high, and it's a bunch of great songs, and it's a great tone. And it's just, it is a very consistent record, and it's pretty great. Next up, this is Jgivens' debut album, and it's called LV Envy. This thing is kind of overlooked, but then again, Jgivens as a whole. Jgivens is a tiny, tiny, tiny Christian rapper, like barely heard of him. His biggest claim to fame was being on Humble Beast Records, but this album was released before Humble Beast Records, so this even went under the radar for me, and I listened to tons of really obscure music. Not the most obscure music. I actually have a brother who listens to, like, insanely obscure music. Like, it's, like, only on YouTube. I don't listen to that, but I listen to kind of obscure music, especially in terms of Christian rap, and this is an obscure album, and it's fantastic. Amazing sampling, amazing lyrics, amazing performance by Jgivens. It's just a great album. Fly Exam. This is my second favorite album of all time. I'm not even kidding. In terms of, like, traditional music, like, not counting, like, Hamilton, not counting, Hamilton, not counting, like, classical music, not counting instrumentals, like, in terms of an album that has lyrics, this is my favorite album, my second favorite album. It's just fantastic. Every little piece of this, the production is amazing. The lyrics are, the wordplay on this album is unheard of levels of amazing. Jgivens himself does a great job. The guest artists do a great job. This is a great album. Kidz These Days by Judah and the Lion. Once again, this album is another one that's kind of under the radar. Judah and the Lion actually did get fairly popular. They toured with 21 Pilots, which of course was a really big deal for them. And that was all with their hit, Take It All Back, which became really big. And then that album and the deluxe version of that album, it wasn't really the normal album, it was the deluxe version, that actually got them some popularity and got them a decent-sized fan base. And yeah, of course, touring with 21 Pilots was a big deal. But this album is a lot better than that album that got popular. This album, Kidz These Days, is like a folk album, like through and through, and it's super wholesome and it's super good. Ending this thing on a bang, this is K.O.D. by J. Cole. Really awesome album artwork, by the way. This is a really great rap album, so much better than most of the trash that is put out by all the Lil rappers, all the Young Thugs and the Young Thug clones. Young Thug is so terrible. I could rant about that. That is ridiculous that he gets all the positive, like, critical acclaim that he gets. It is absolutely ridiculous because he's not very good at all. Anyway, K.O.D., it's a great album. That was everything. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.